What if you woke up tomorrow morning, turned on your phone, and saw the headline claiming the love of your life was gone? Not ill, not hospitalized, gone. For millions of Americans, that's exactly what appeared on their screens, a shocking, heart-stopping claim that Mark Consuelo's beloved actor, husband, and longtime partner to America's sweetheart Kelly Ripa was dead. But here's the truth. This wasn't just a rumor. It wasn't just gossip. And Kelly Ripa's reaction proves why this moment became far more powerful than anyone expected. Because when Kelly finally spoke out, her words stopped people cold. This isn't a joke. And what she revealed next changed the conversation forever. Pause. Music deepens. For decades, Kelly Ripa has been a familiar presence in American homes. She's greeted us in the mornings with humor, warmth, and a sense of normalcy. She's laughed with us, aged with us, raised her family in front of us. But behind that bright studio smile is a woman who has fiercely protected one thing above all else, her family. And that's why this moment hit differently. The rumors began quietly, the way they always do. A vague post, a shadowy headline, a misleading thumbnail promising tragic breaking news. No sources, no confirmation, just shock value. At first, many assumed it was a mistake. But then it spread. Facebook feeds, YouTube recommendations, group texts lighting up with concern, friends asking friends, "Did you hear about Mark?" And suddenly, a lie started sounding like the truth. Transition smoothly, voice lowers. Now, for those who've been married decades, who've shared a life, children, memories, private jokes, and quiet routines, you understand something younger generations often don't. A spouse isn't just a partner. They're your anchor. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos met in the mid-90s. Their love story wasn't polished or planned. It was bold, fast, a little rebellious. They eloped, took a chance, built a life the old-fashioned way together. So when the internet casually suggested that life had ended, it wasn't just cruel. It was personal. Kelly didn't immediately respond. And that silence? It spoke volumes. Because when someone you love is falsely declared dead, the first reaction isn't anger. It's disbelief. Then fear. Then an ache you can't quite name. And here's the first cliffhanger. What finally pushed Kelly Ripa to break her silence wasn't the rumor itself. It was who the rumor was hurting. Beat. Music softens. You see, Kelly and Mark have children. Grown children, yes, but still children. Kids with phones. Friends. Classmates. Coworkers. Imagine receiving a message that your father has died, only to find out it's not true. Imagine explaining to people you love that your family is okay, while your heart is racing. This is where Kelly drew the line. When she finally addressed the rumors, her tone wasn't playful. It wasn't sarcastic. It was calm, controlled, and devastatingly serious. "This isn't a joke," she said. And in that moment, the smile America knew was gone. Because Kelly wasn't speaking as a television host. She was speaking as a wife, as a mother, as a woman demanding dignity in an era that often forgets what that word means. Transition, voice steadies, reflective. What makes this story so important, especially for those of us in our 60s, is that it exposes something deeper about the world we now live in. We come from a generation that trusted the morning paper, the evening news, the voice on the radio. If it was printed, it mattered. But today, anyone can create a headline. Anyone can spread fear. And the truth often arrives last, if it arrives at all. Kelly Ripa understood this immediately. She wasn't just correcting a rumor. She was sounding an alarm. Because if this could happen to her family, famous, visible, protected, what about yours? Cliffhanger pause. And here's the part most headlines didn't tell you. Kelly didn't just deny the rumor. She revealed what it felt like to live through it. Music builds gently. She spoke about the emotional whiplash, the messages pouring in, the confusion, the need to reassure loved ones while processing her own shock. And suddenly, the story wasn't about celebrity anymore. It was about humanity, about the fragility of truth, about how easily we forget that real people live behind public images. Kelly reminded viewers that rumors don't disappear when the camera turns off. They follow you home. They sit at the dinner table. They creep into quiet moments late at night. And for couples who have spent decades building a life, brick by brick, that kind of cruelty cuts deep. Transitions smoothly to inspirational tone. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Instead of retreating, Kelly did something powerful. She stood tall. She spoke clearly. And she turned a moment of fear into a moment of truth. She reminded the world that love doesn't vanish because of a headline. That partnership is stronger than noise. And that some bonds, especially those forged over decades, can't be shaken by lies. And here's the second cliffhanger. What Mark Consuelos did next quietly reinforced everything Kelly stood for. Brief pause. Mark didn't rage. He didn't clap back. He didn't fuel the fire. He lived. He showed up. He smiled. He supported his wife. And sometimes, the strongest response to falsehood is simply continuing to exist with grace. Music softens, voice warm. For viewers in their 60s, this story resonates because it reflects something deeply familiar. You've seen rumors. You've lived through misinformation. You've watched the world change faster than it feels comfortable. But you've also learned something priceless with age. What's real doesn't need to shout. Love doesn't need validation. And truth always outlasts noise. Kelly Ripa's message wasn't just a denial. It was a reminder. Protect your people. Question what you're told. And never forget the power of standing up calmly when the world tries to knock you down. Final cliffhanger, voice lowers, intimate. And the most surprising part? Kelly later hinted that this moment, painful as it was, made her family closer than ever. Because when lies test you, truth reveals who you are. So the next time a shocking headline flashes across your screen, remember this story. Remember Kelly's words. This isn't a joke. Because behind every rumor is a real life still being lived.